All right, welcome. So this is going to be the fitness split that got me in shape. I'm going to be giving you guys the exact process that I used to go from fat and lazy in my early teenage years to fit and in shape now 5 years later. It didn't take me 5 years to get here. It took me 5 years to figure out how to get here. And then, the actual process of implementing a fitness routine and following through on it. If you stay consistent, you can see a lot of growth and a lot of progress very, very quickly. It's a matter of finding a split and a routine that works for you and then staying consistent with it. The struggle with getting into fitness is just learning what you're doing and figuring out what you're doing. And that's why people don't make progress for extended periods of time. But I have a lot of friends that I have examples of this with, and I have myself as well as an example. Once you find a routine that works and you stick to it, you'll see a lot of progress very, very quickly. So this is the fitness routine and the fitness split that got me in shape in 2025. And, I promise that's not a clickbait title. That is genuinely, since the start of 2025 until now, I have gone from being in one of the worst shapes of my life, probably, to maybe not the worst shape, but definitely the worst in a very long time, to the best shape I've been in a very long time. Probably the best shape I've ever been in, arguably. During my snowboarding season, a month or two ago, about maybe 2.5 or 3 months now. It's been a little bit, it's been a minute. But during that season and towards the end of that season, I realized that I was out of shape. I was not fit. I was not fit for the sport that I was doing and the intensity that I was doing it at, and the amount that I was doing as well, because I was there almost every day, and I was there as many hours as I could survive for the day, basically, is how I felt getting through this year, is how many hours can I survive on the hill before I have to go and crash in my bed and do the same thing again the next day, which isn't a very optimal way to live. But I was not in a very good place physically. I was not in very good shape. And very quickly I realized that this was an issue. So the end of the season came up, and I committed to two things. I committed to training for the next season, and I committed to the gym routine. So I committed to 5 days a week in the gym, and that is Monday through Friday. I like to do weekdays since, I'm always busy during the week, and I'm always doing things during the week. So it's the best time for me to go to the gym, because that's usually when I'm locked in by myself, just doing my own work. And that's the best time for me to go to the gym, is I find time after my work is done, and I go in and I go to the gym, do a quick session, come home, eat, and go to bed. So that's just how it works out best for me, is Monday through Friday. But it's 5 days a week, and I committed to that. And 2 months later, 8 weeks later, I just finished my 8th week on this new program. But 8 weeks later, and now I actually feel like I'm in the best shape of my life, right? I am feeling stronger than ever before. My physique looks better than it has before. I was looking for the word. My endurance is better than it has been in a while. And I am overall feeling healthier, overall feeling clearer, overall feeling better. I picked up a new sport as well. I started skateboarding, and I've been learning trick skateboarding. And before, the fitness thing would be an issue for me. But very, very quickly, my body adapted to the endurance for skateboarding. And skateboarding isn't a very hefty endurance sport, but it definitely is physically demanding when you're pushing around all day. And basically I use it to get around sometimes. I have a car, but I prefer to skateboard sometimes, because my town is so small and there's a lot of good areas to ride. So I will often skateboard, but pushing for 20 minutes straight is definitely a workout for sure. It's a burner, but old me would have been exhausted and out of breath and just ready to crash. But now, this is just how I get to work now. This is just how I get from my house to the office. So it's just a few examples of how my fitness has improved over the last couple of months. And in that short of a time span, That's actually very, very good. That's a lot of progress in a short period of time. If you saw where I was when I started to where I am now, that is a lot of progress in a very short period of time. And so how I did this is exactly what we're going to be going over in this video, where I'm going to cover the exact fitness split that I used, and combining this with consistency, and you'll see progress. I cannot promise any progress unless you combine this with consistency in the gym. Before we start, though, I just want to announce I am about to launch a new program. It is essentially a self-improvement program put all together. It is going to be multiple courses on multiple areas of self-improvement, so it is going to help you in each stage of the journey. And it's going to be detailed courses on topics like dopamine detoxing, mastering your routine and your daily habits, mental health, fitness. I'm going to be making one specifically on diet. I've been doing a lot of research and work on my diet, and I have some pretty good tools coming to you guys on YouTube, and I'm also making this course for the program, so on and so forth. So I will be adding as many new courses as I see fit, and as many courses as people are asking for. So if there's anything you're interested in seeing in there, you can let me know. But I am doing an early access to the program. So for the first 100 people that join, you're going to get a discounted price, and you'll be able to maintain that price range if you stay in the community you'll be able to maintain your lower price range even after I've raised the price. And I'm raising the price of the program based on the value within it. So as I add new content, I'm going to increase the price accordingly. So early access people will be able to get the entire program for a lower price if they stay in long enough, essentially. And you will just be some of the first people to get in there, first people to get access to all of the courses. We're also going to be doing weekly calls. So it's going to be group coaching. So it's going to be me coaching a bunch of you guys all at once on different topics, as well as training calls, which is just going to be me giving private lectures, specific lectures, just to the members in the community. So if any of those things are something you're interested in, you could go ahead and go to my Instagram, which is the first link in the description, and just send me a DM, say, hey, I'm looking for early access to the program. The program is called Academy of Self-Mastery. So if you want to say, I would like early access to the Academy of Self-Mastery, I will take note of you, and you will be the first person to get the link when it's launched publicly. So that means essentially you guys will hear about it before anybody on YouTube hears about it. And then if you want to, I'm moving over to that program. I'm looking to switch over completely to that program, but I am still taking one-on-one coaching clients. So if you are interested in just working with me directly one-on-one and you want to get into that coaching program, you can also DM me about that as well. So go over to my Instagram, send me a DM. Hey, I'd like to get the one-on-one coaching, or I would like to get into the new program, the Academy of Self-Mastery. Both of which I'll reply, and I will help you guys get in. But that is all that I have. Now let's get into the video. So this section is why fitness is everything. Why is fitness so goddamn important, right? The reason for this is mainly your health, right? Keeping your body healthy, keeping your brain healthy is essential. Obviously, it's key to a long and healthy life. And it's best sustained through exercise combined with a proper diet. So you need to be eating right, and you need to be working out consistently. If you have these two things correct, if you have these two things right, most of the rest of the things that you can do for your health are add-ons. Sleep is another one in this group that is essential. Sleep, good diet, and exercise. If you have these three things in place, you will feel amazing. You will have great health, right? You will not have optimized health. You will not have the best health in the world. But if you have these three keys in place, a few supplements, and you could be within that top 1% of health, right? Or, a few other tips and tricks and techniques. But the main three, which is sleep, exercise, and diet, these three things will sustain good health, right? These things will make you feel healthy. They will make you feel fit, in shape, clear, sharp, right? All of the positive things associated with having good health, a long life, right? A long and healthy life, right? You don't want to live long if you can't actually do things for most of that time. A long and healthy and sustainable life, right? Fitness or exercise is one of the things that I said are the three pillars, right? The three most essential pieces. So therefore, fitness itself is absolutely important. It is absolutely essential. It is, in my opinion, it is key for most people who feel stuck in life, for most people who are depressed, for most people who are feeling as though they are lost or they're being lazy in life or whatever. But people who are stuck, or people who are not happy with themselves, right? Who blame things on depression or a state of mind that they somehow are just subject to, right? Fitness itself, I believe, getting into fitness, getting into exercise can actually help most of these people with most of these problems. Because having an outlet like exercise can help you to move towards your purpose if you don't know what your purpose is. And the other thing is it will help a lot with depression. It helps with mental health, right? It helps with cognitive function. It helps with your body's functioning. So yes, you're expending energy when you work out, but with most things that you do, you actually have a little bit more energy. You're able to do them better. You're able to do them more fully, more completely. So that's the next thing, is actually your productivity will increase a lot. You will be able to be more productive just because you're in shape now, right? Because your brain functions a little bit better. Your body functions a little bit better. And so this is going to be a slight advantage when you want to do something like work, because you are used to the effort, right? You're used to building and sustaining momentum. You're used to putting in work for something and putting in effort for something and receiving the reward of just completing a task, completing a gym session, right? So you're able to work easier because you don't need instant rewards all the time. And because your body, the reason you might be lazy is because your body struggles to go from a state of sedation to movement. And so that transition period gets closer and closer the more you exercise. So the more fit and in shape you are, the shorter this gap between being still to being active gets, right? And so that is key for being able to be more productive during the day, because there's not as much of a gap between you actually initiating the work, because that is the most difficult part of anything, is initiating the process. My girlfriend said this to me last night. Basically, the hardest thing is to start typing. When you're working on a script or when you're texting somebody, if it's a serious text or whatever. But the hardest part is starting to type, and that is with any type of work. The hardest part for me here is pressing record. That's easily the most difficult part of anything that I do here as far as recording goes, is pressing the button to start recording. Once I press the button, I'm here, I'm going, it's recording, let me start. But up until that moment, I'm thinking about, I don't want to start. I could just go home. I could just go skateboard around and just like not do anything important. And then as soon as I finally get myself to commit and press that button, now I'm going, now I'm in flow. But it was the most difficult part of the process, was getting from not doing it to starting the action and initiating that process. And so with good fitness, and being healthy, being in shape, it actually just shortens that gap and makes it a lot easier to initiate the process. The next thing is your energy levels, right? You, like I said before, you are expending energy when you're working out, but overall you increase your energy, right? You actually have more energy throughout the day. You have more energy to apply to other things, because of the fact that you're exercising, because of the fact that you're building and developing your health. And this just gives you more energy to work with because you're more healthy. And that's just a natural byproduct of being healthy, is that you also have more energy to use, more energy to work with. And so, yes, you are using energy to go to the gym, but in actuality, you are making an investment for more energy in the future. because you're creating a healthy state, a healthy body, a healthy mind, and this will result in you having more energy long term. It's just that you have to make the sacrifice now. And then the final thing is discipline, right? So exercising and building your body is going to also build and develop discipline, because it forces you to commit to doing something you may not always want to do. The gym is great. We love the gym. We love working out. We love exercise. I love my training. There are always going to be days, no matter what you do, you don't want to do it, right? You may not feel like doing it. You may have something else you want to do instead. You may have things that are getting in the way. You may have family trying to tell you about all these other things that you could be doing, or all these other things you need to be doing, or all these other things you should be doing. Or if you have family events going on, you have family telling you, we have this in the morning, we have that in the morning. All of these outside factors can start to pull your attention away from the thing that you are trying to do. But your ability to just put your head down and follow through on the thing anyways, right? Work through the thing anyways. That is going to be key in becoming successful in any field, right? But the gym teaches you how to do this because you have to hit your workout. So you have to make that hard decision. Do you want to sacrifice the long-term goals, the long-term benefit for this short-term gratification, this short-term pleasure, or are you willing to sacrifice the short-term for the long-term? And if you start to learn how to actually sacrifice the short-term for the long-term and commit to the gym and follow through on what you've committed to, that will start to build and develop discipline. And like I said, discipline is essential for all areas of life, any form of success. Now, we're going to get into my perfect fitness split. My perfect fitness split, at least what I believe is the perfect fitness split, for someone who doesn't have as many days a week to go to the gym, I think push-pull legs is the most effective split that there is, right? Why? Because you can now get your full week's worth of exercise, your full week's worth of workouts in 3 days, right? So for those whose schedules are limited, and even for those whose schedules may not be as limited, push-pull legs is going to be one of the most effective, right? Now, what is push-pull legs? Push essentially just means all of your chest motions and movements, all of your tricep movements, and all of your shoulder movements. Any movements related to pushing away from your body, right? So that's chest, triceps, shoulders. Pull is the opposite. Any form of pulling towards your body, right? Any type of pulling motion is going to use the biceps. It's going to use the back, upper and lower back, or upper and middle back rather, not so much lower back. I typically try to hit lower back more with my leg workouts. I like the Romanian chair, and deadlifts are great. So then you hit legs. Legs are the last part of this split. Legs are just lower body, everything lower body. So lower back, glutes, quads, hams, calves. Hamstrings are obviously a pull motion, and squats are obviously somewhat of a pushing motion, so it's a combination of the two. But we say push-pull as chest, triceps, shoulders, pull as biceps and back, and then the legs is obviously just legs and lower body. And you may be thinking, where's abs? Where's core? I have 5 days a week in the gym now, so I'm not just limited to 3. But there's 2 ways that I would consider doing this. One is I include some level of cardio with my push-pull days, and I include abs with my leg days. So you do some type of intense cardio at the beginning or end or both of your push and pull workouts, and then on your leg days, instead of hitting another cardio session, you're just going to hit abs on your leg days, right? And so that's how you can group it all together into just 3 days for a split. What I've done now, because I have a little bit more time, is I now have 5 days in my split. So I have push-pull legs, which is just my push-pull legs, and then I have cardio with each of these days. Then I have a full body day, which has some core work in it, and then I have a cardio and abs day. So it's specifically longer cardio session and then abs, and that's when I hit abs. My cardio and abs day is kind of like a rest recovery day. That's what I called it originally. And then I realized it wasn't a rest day because it was a full ab workout. So I call it my cardio and abs now. But you can make small adjustments like that if you need to, based on your schedule and your time and needing to hit any other muscle groups or any other types of exercise. So if you need to do cardio and stuff like that. But the base, the foundation is push-pull legs. And the next thing is yoga and cardio. I like to include a yoga session and a stretching session every single day. Except I stopped doing yoga every day. I do plyometrics on the weekends instead of my yoga. But my yoga I do during the day as a recovery, and it's building some basic strength. And then I do the gym. And then I come home, and for my night routine, I stretch, right? And there's also, I always have some type of cardio in my day as well. I'm always either skateboarding. I'm trying to get a bike again. I miss having a bike. Or I'll just go for walks. Sometimes I'll run. I haven't been running a lot, which is another thing I ought to get back into, running. But for me, I get a lot of my cardio from my training on the trampoline. So for snowboarding, I train with a trampoline style board. It's just designed to bounce on a trampoline and feel like a snowboard. So I use that to practice tricks. That's definitely a very demanding activity, so I count that as my cardio. But having some type of cardio and then some type of recovery work is important, and it's essential, right? So I like yoga. I found that yoga is actually one of the most effective for me. And then I just like to do a light stretching at the end of the day to work out any tightness, any kinks in my body. I have a massage gun, so I'll work on anything I need to work on. And it's just kind of to relax everything, get ready for bed, and sleep for recovery. So yeah, yoga and then cardio is essential. So cardio, like, you can add it to your workouts, but I also would recommend the days you're not in the gym and not working out, you have some type of cardio. So like the days I don't go to the gym are on the weekends. I do plyometrics on the weekends now, and I'm always training on the weekends. In fact, I usually train twice on the weekends because, I might be a fiend. I might be needing the gym a little too bad. So I hit a second session out there. So I make sure that I'm hitting cardio every single day. And that's key. That's essential. So even with lifting, you should hit some type of cardio every day. Swimming is great. Walking is great. Running is great. If you're more athletic, like running, biking, these are going to be amazing, right? These are going to be super good for you. If you can just get like a 20 to 30 minute run in every day, that would be amazing for your health. That would absolutely benefit you. And if you're a little older or you're a little bit out of shape, like just a regular walk is fine, right? Just a regular walk. Even me, like I go for a walk, I feel great. I feel amazing. So like, it doesn't really matter what fitness level you're at, but if you can't do more intense cardio, like go for a walk. And if you don't want to go for a run, maybe you play a sport and you're running a lot in your sport. And again, just going for a walk can be huge. So just get some type of activity in each day, even when you're not in the gym. And then to me, at least, it makes it a little bit easier when I'm in the gym, just because my body's in that state of activity. It's in that active state. I don't get sedentary throughout the week. So I show up at the gym and like, I don't know if you can see me now, like I haven't worked out today. So I'm like, I got energy. I'm a little bit jittery. I show up to the gym though, and I'm like, I'm ready to go. Like, I just want to get right to it. And that's how you want to feel, because otherwise it's just a drag going to the gym. It's just a drag working out. So making sure you're doing things that you actually want to be doing, right? So like if you don't like lifting, first of all, that really sucks for you, because I still would recommend lifting. But if you don't like lifting, as unfortunate as that is, in my opinion, it doesn't really matter, because you don't need to lift. I just recommend it highly for everybody. But that's just me, right? That's just because I believe that lifting is very, very essential for longevity and building a healthy body, building a good muscular structure. But to get activity in, all you really need to do is making sure you're exercising every day. So obviously you're watching this video because you want to be in the gym. So the days that you're not in the gym, just try to get some form of cardio. And then the last thing is sports. Similar to cardio, it groups in there, but I separated it specifically because like you can do all of this on top of playing a sport. In fact, it will help you in playing your sport, because all of this is just going to develop your fitness in a way that you can't do just by practicing, just by training in your sport. And so it'll give you a slight edge, it'll give you a slight advantage, but also overall it'll just help your fitness increase. And when you have better fitness, I've noticed at least, I'm able to grow more, I'm able to learn more in sports training because I'm able to keep up with the training to the degree that I'm actually able to think about the skills, and I'm not just dragging through the endurance part of the training, right? And so I've found that to be a major advantage when playing a sport and learning things. And if you don't play a sport, this is where I will recommend playing a sport, because I think it's one of the best ways to get cardio in as well, because it's fun, it's enjoyable, it's something that you can learn a lot with. You can learn a lot inside of sports, and you can do so while maintaining good cardio. And so like what I found, a lot of my friends go to play basketball after the gym. We have a Y out here, so they'll go to the Y and they'll go and play in the basketball courts in there. And I think that's great. I think that's awesome. But essentially they follow up their gym routines with some type of sport, they keep that activity going. And that's a good thing for anybody who is an athlete, or even anybody who's not but just needs more activity in their life, is yes, hit the gym, but like A, you can only hit the gym so much, and B, you don't need to or want to be hitting the gym for these long extended periods of time. You just need what is effective, and that's the basics, which is show up, lift what you need to, and then go. You don't need to force or go beyond what is actually going to be helpful. And in most cases, that means not trying to push beyond what is comfortable for your body. So like when you're lifting, there's a certain point when you're done, all right? And that same logic, however, does not apply to a sport or endurance work, right? So you can lift and play a sport, and you're not burning out. But if you lift 2 sessions in a day, you will be burning out, right? So having a sport is a good alternative for when you've already worked out or you don't have a workout that day and you want to go and do something active. And yeah, so like sports, solo sports are great. I've been loving skateboarding. Biking is good. Biking is more cardio and endurance, but you can call it a sport. I like to do like BMX style biking. I like to hit little curbs and jumps and stuff, and I'm learning some tricks. We'll see what happens when I get a new bike, but I'm learning some tricks. Might do a backflip, who knows? But you can turn it into a sport as well. But skateboarding is great. I love skateboarding. I've been learning how to ollie. I think that's sick. I always thought ollieing on a skateboard was so cool because it's not strapped to your feet, so like it's a little more difficult, but I love it. I like it. I've been learning. I just did a couple today. Perfect ones, beautiful ones. And then there's also like team sports if you have people to play with, like soccer. Soccer's great. If you just have like 3 of your friends with you, you do a little 2-on-2. Like soccer's perfect. Soccer you can play anywhere. You can, make it work as long as you have a ball. Football is great. I used to play tackle football with my friends back in middle school. We'd just go outside, no pads, just like wreck each other all day. That was always fun. And then basketball is another great one. Basketball is a sport you can play solo and with people very easily. And so on and so forth. The list is endless. These are obviously all the sports that I do and that I play and that I'm thinking about, but you can fill in the gaps. I'm sure there's a sport that came to mind for you that either I said or didn't say that just makes sense for you, so go with that. So yeah, that is all I have for this video, guys. If you're interested in the new program, the Academy of Self-Mastery, go ahead and click that first link in the description and let me know. And if you want to work with me one-on-one, I'm still doing that. You can still go in and ask for that program. So yeah, if you guys want to work directly with me, go ahead and check out that link. And other than that, that's all I got for you guys. So I'm out of here. Peace.